In this section, we will explore how Trump's indictment for mishandling classified documents could endanger national security and expose sensitive information to foreign adversaries. Trump was indicted on 37 counts of retaining, disclosing, and obstructing classified information, according to the Department of Justice. The indictment alleges that Trump kept hundreds of documents related to nuclear weapons, military operations, and intelligence briefings at his Mar-a-Lago estate, and showed them to people who did not have security clearances. This is a serious breach of protocol and law, as classified documents are meant to be handled with utmost care and discretion. They contain vital information that could compromise the safety and interests of the United States and its allies if they fall into the wrong hands. For example, one of the documents that Trump allegedly mishandled was a map that detailed a military operation in a foreign country. If this map was leaked or stolen by an enemy state, it could reveal the strategy, tactics, and locations of U.S. forces and their allies, putting them at risk of attack or sabotage. Another document that Trump allegedly mishandled was a report on the nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. If this report was disclosed or accessed by a rival power, it could give them an advantage in negotiations, deterrence, or warfare. It could also undermine the credibility and trustworthiness of the U.S. as a global leader and partner. Moreover, Trump's indictment could have long-term consequences for the U.S. intelligence community and national security apparatus. It could damage the morale and confidence of the people who work hard to collect, analyze, and protect classified information. It could also erode the trust and cooperation of foreign allies and sources who share sensitive information with the U.S., fearing that it might be mishandled or exposed by a former president. In conclusion, Trump's indictment for mishandling classified documents is not only a legal matter, but also a national security threat. It could endanger the lives and interests of Americans and their allies, and expose secrets that could benefit hostile actors. It could also harm the reputation and effectiveness of the U.S. intelligence community and national security system. In September 2022, New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a civil fraud lawsuit against Donald Trump, his family business, and 3 of his children. The lawsuit accuses them of a staggering fraud that lasted for more than a decade. The lawsuit alleges that Trump and his company falsely inflated and deflated the value of their assets to deceive lenders, insurers, and other entities. They did this by creating more than 200 false and misleading valuations of their properties on their annual statements of financial condition. These statements were used to obtain millions of dollars in loans, insurance coverage, and tax benefits that they did not deserve. The lawsuit seeks to remove Trump and his children from their roles at the Trump Organization, ban them from future leadership roles in New York, and repay $250 million they illegally obtained. The lawsuit is based on a years-long investigation by James' office, which subpoenaed thousands of documents and interviewed dozens of witnesses. The investigation found evidence of widespread and persistent fraud by Trump and his company. For example, the lawsuit claims that Trump inflated the value of his Seven Springs estate in Westchester County by more than $200 million in 2012, based on a dubious appraisal that included a fictional vineyard and conservation easement. He then used this inflated value to claim a $21 million tax deduction. In another instance, the lawsuit claims that Trump deflated the value of his golf courses by more than $50 million in 2017, based on a selective use of comparable sales and expenses. He then used this deflated value to reduce his property taxes. The lawsuit also alleges that Trump and his company misled banks and insurers about their financial health and performance. For example, the lawsuit claims that Trump inflated his net worth by billions of dollars in 2015, based on unsupported projections and valuations of his brand and future deals. He then used this inflated net worth to secure loans from Deutsche Bank and Ladder Capital for his Washington Hotel and Doral Resort. In another instance, the lawsuit claims that Trump deflated his liabilities by hundreds of millions of dollars in 2019, based on omitting or understating debts and obligations. He then used this deflated liabilities to lower his premiums for liability insurance from AIG. The lawsuit is one of several legal troubles facing Trump, who has been indicted by a federal grand jury for retaining classified government documents and obstruction of justice, according to a lawyer for the former president. He has also been found liable in a civil rape and defamation trial by a former magazine columnist. Trump has denied all the allegations against him and has called them politically motivated witch hunts. He has also appealed the New York lawsuit and has tried to dismiss it on various grounds, such as lack of jurisdiction, statute of limitations and immunity. However, a New York appeals court has signaled it was unlikely to grant his request and has allowed the lawsuit to proceed. The New York lawsuit could have serious consequences for Trump and his family if they are found guilty of civil fraud. They could face hefty fines, penalties and restitution orders that could drain their finances and assets. They could also lose their control and influence over their business empire, which could affect their future income and opportunities. Moreover, they could face criminal charges if the Attorney General refers the matter to federal or state prosecutors for further investigation. The New York lawsuit could also reveal a decade-long pattern of inflating and deflating assets to deceive lenders, insurers and other entities that could damage Trump's reputation and credibility as a businessman and a leader.